Welcome to the Aging Well Firefighter, the podcast for first responders, our families, and the communities we serve. Whether you're on the front lines or standing with us, I'm here to help you fight wisely and age bravely. I'm publishing today's episode on my birthday, my 55th birthday if you're wondering. And as I turn the big 5-5, there's a quote from George Eliot that keeps playing in my head. The years between 50 and 70 are the hardest. You're always being asked to do things, and yet you're not decrepit enough to turn them down. That line hits differently today for the aging well firefighter. I'm still capable, still saying yes, still serving, but lately, I'm starting to feel the drag of constant demand. And recently, I've had to admit something. I've been pouring everything into everyone else. My crews, my coaching clients, my community. And in the process, I've let my own readiness slide. My fitness has slipped. My recovery, my focus. The irony wasn't lost on me. The guy who preaches wellness, quietly blunting his own edge. Not long ago, I went out for a run, something that used to be my sanctuary, my escape. I've run more than a dozen marathons, a couple of them under 4 hours, and I even knocked out a 50-mile ultra, running all day, 90-degree heat, nothing but willpower and stubbornness. Running 3 miles used to feel like a warm-up. But this run was different. It was slower, heavier. I walked more than I ran. And down that long, empty road, staring at the horizon that didn't seem to move at all, I caught myself wondering whether I still had it in me. I reminded myself of how many times I'd done this before, but instead of confidence, what I felt was doubt. Not just about finishing the run, but about whether I still cared enough to finish. In that moment, it hit me. I hadn't lost toughness. I'd lost an edge by chopping nonstop without sharpening. And even the strongest blade dulls eventually. Out there on that road, it came to me. Being busy is a gateway drug. It starts small. You take the extra shift, handle the extra project, say yes because someone needs you. You tell yourself it's noble, service before self. But before long, the rush of being in demand tricks you into believing that motion equals meaning. And like any drug, the tolerance goes up, so you dose yourself with more busy. If you're on the job, firefighting or EMS, teaching, coaching, parenting, you know the drill. The tones drop and you move. Readiness becomes reflex, but outside the call, that reflex becomes a trap. We respond to everything, but reflect on nothing. That's what quietly erodes the edge. We stay busy instead of staying ready. The question isn't, how much can I do? It's, what's worth doing? And how do I stay sharp enough to do it well? Because saying yes to everything isn't service. It's slow sabotage, self-sabotage that looks productive from the outside. Did you ever see that coin vortex at the Science Museum? You drop a penny in. It rolls slow and wide at first, steady and predictable. But then gravity grabs it. It starts spinning tighter and faster until it blurs and spins out of control and disappears. That's chronic stress and under recovery. Early in your career or in your life, you don't feel the deficits. Miss a night of sleep, skip a workout, keep grinding. You think you beat the system, but like that penny, the circles keep tightening. The fatigue piles up, the recovery shortens, and the spin picks up more and more speed until drop and you burn out. And here's what the research says. Sleep quality affects not just your performance, but your ability to get better, skill maintenance, and skill acquisition. Firefighting and EMS, even coaching, those jobs are both athletic and cognitive. They demand precision under pressure, but studies show that when you're under recovered, reaction times drop, focus fades, judgment slips, and you don't just think slower, you care less because chronic fatigue rewires motivation itself. That's why recovery isn't optional, it's operational. You can't outserve your biology. Eventually, that penny drops. There's a quote I've always loved, and it's usually attributed to Abraham Lincoln. Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I'll spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. That line catches people's attention because it sounds clever, but when you've actually lived worn down, you realize that it's deadly accurate. Lincoln wasn't talking about trees. He was talking about the difference between motion and maintenance, about the discipline of preparation over the illusion of productivity, about what happens when you spend all your energy swinging harder instead of smarter. For a long time, I thought sharpening the axe meant resting more, taking a nap, or maybe a weekend off. And those things are important, but they're just surface level. Real sharpening happens when you deliberately invest in the things that maintain your operational readiness, physical preparedness, mental clarity, emotional bandwidth. Let me break down what that looks like for me. Maybe it'll spark some ideas for you. First, physical sharpening. For me, it starts with fitness, not punishment workouts and not chasing old race times. Just consistent, purposeful movement that keeps me capable. I'm easing back into running, slower and steadier, but stronger this time. I'm building back the foundation instead of just chasing the finish line. Strength training, stretching, and mobility. I'm treating them as part of the job description, not as optional extras. Because if I expect my body to perform when the tones drop, then training isn't self-care, it's preparation. Second, mental sharpening. I'm learning to protect my focus the same way we'd secure a scene, by establishing a perimeter, building boundaries. That means cutting back on unnecessary noise. The constant stream of alerts, news, and digital clutter that feeds stress without feeding purpose. It means scheduling quiet, not waiting for it to happen. My goal is to take 10 minutes in the morning before the day starts to check in and ground myself in what actually matters today, to keep from confusing activity with effectiveness. Third, emotional sharpening. Most of us don't burn out because we stop caring. We burn out because we keep caring while cutting every corner of our own recovery. Purpose is powerful, but it's also heavy. So I'm reminding myself that showing up sharp means reconnecting, getting outside, talking with crew members beyond just work talk, finding humor in the chaos. Those things keep the edge honed from the inside out. Sharpening isn't just about slowing down, it's about speeding up wisely. Because when you get that blade right, one swing does what 10 used to do. A theater director I once worked under was known for telling her actors, "Don't wander the stage just to look busy. Move with purpose." Every step, every pause, every gesture intentional, thoughtful, meaningful. And I think life is the same way. Too many of us spend years wandering around our own stage, doing things, saying yes and keeping busy, confusing action with purpose. So this year, 55 for me, I'm taking that director's advice. I'm not wandering anymore. I'm getting back behind the wheel, deliberate, focused, and fully engaged. This is my year to drive, not to grind harder or hustle faster, but to steer intentionally, to reclaim direction instead of just wandering in circles. If you want to join me, here's the challenge I'm putting out there for you, for your crew, for your family, for all of us. Name the edge. What's dull right now? Your body, your patience, your presence? Schedule sharpening. Make time this week for something that rebuilds you, not leftover time or spare time, intentional time. Share the drive. Talk about it, post about it, bring others with you because, like I've talked about in other episodes, momentum multiplies in community. At age 55, I've realized that experience doesn't automatically keep you sharp. Maintenance does. Every call, every mile, every conversation dings a little bit off the edge. The work doesn't sharpen us. Our habits do. So stay ready, not worn down. Before I wrap up today's episode, I need to say some thank yous, because staying sharp is never a solo act. To my fellow EMS providers, instructors, directors, and chiefs, you've been my indispensable teachers and mentors. Your influence still shapes how I lead and how I serve. To my mother and to my late father, thank you for raising me to find joy in hard work, to find meaning in service, and to find strength in kindness. And to my family, my wife and daughter, thank you for living this life right alongside me, for the pride, for the patience, and for the grace you show every time the tones drop or the evenings run late. You are the reason behind every mile and every message. To every firefighter, medic, dispatcher, nurse, police officer, and family member out there, thank you for being part of this community, for the work that you do, and for helping each other stay sharp. We may each be on our own road, but the mission is the same. Stay sharp, stay steady, and drive on purpose. Thank you for spending part of your day today with me. If today's episode hit home, I'd love to hear what your version of Year to Drive looks like. Message me through my website or on my socials. I'll leave links in the show notes. Until next time, friends, as always, fight wisely and age bravely.